Today, you're going to learn and know for a fact that it's not over. All right, so picture this, okay? It's past midnight. I'm a teenager laying in my bed. I have gone through one of my biggest and most traumatic heartbreaks that to this day is a feeling that was so strong, so hurtful, so unfair that whenever something or anything even closely similar happens, I don't flinch, I don't cry, and I don't care. I'm awake because of all the thoughts of what faced me tomorrow, or they're eating me from the inside, and it feels as if my brain were pickled in cortisol. And although I feel exhausted and know that I am safer in my sleep, I cannot seem to shut my eyes without having more and more of those terrifying thoughts chase me behind my eyelids. But eventually, somehow, I fall asleep. I don't dream. For weeks even before that, I wouldn't dream. There would just be a slow creep into watching my eyelids force themselves shut, and then a slow fade into consciousness as the light from my window naturally would make my eyes open. It's morning. I look at my alarm clock and I realize I have more time to rest. It's easier now because I'm still half asleep and can just close my eyes and go back without an ounce of effort. But I awake again to the sound of our home phone ringing. That's right, we had a home phone. And it's ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And I lay in bed because surely someone else will hear the phone and answer it. Who even calls this early in the morning? Eventually, the phone stops ringing. The ringing stops. And I start to fall back asleep. But before I can even feel myself slip back into the unconsciousness, the phone rings again. And it rings, and it rings, and it rings, and it rings. And at this point, I am aggravated. Why is no one answering the phone? Does no one else in the house hear the phone ringing? There's a home phone in my parents' room. Why aren't they answering it? Are they also trying to ignore it because it's a ridiculous time to call someone's house? So I get out of bed, open my bedroom door, and I make it to my parents' room across the hall. I open their door, and I see that they're not in their room. I look out the window of their room and see only my car in the driveway. No one's home. I pick up the phone. It's my grandmother on my mother's side. I call her Gaga. The conversation goes like this. Hello? Hey, are you up? Are you dressed? No, Gaga, I just got up because someone's been calling the house and I just realized that no one's home. I know. I'm coming to pick you up. I'll be there in about 10 minutes. Are you taking me to school? I was very confused and I was very tired, so I wasn't even thinking of how dumb of a question that was because I had my own car and such. I could just drive myself to school. No, you're not going to school today. And at first I was happy to hear that. I was like, oh my God, thank you. And I was like, I'm not going to school. Then why are you picking me up? Well, something happened with your dad last night. He's in the ICU, so we're going to go to the hospital. What's going on? What's wrong with Dad? I don't know, baby. We're just going to have to see. I'm almost in the neighborhood. Be standing outside. I got picked up and I got taken there. I would later find out that my dad had successfully found a way to take his own life without slitting his wrist or hanging himself, shooting himself. He had poisoned himself. I assumed he was hoping that he would die peacefully in his sleep. However, that was not at all how it went. Apparently, with my mom's testimony, his last moments of consciousness were spent in pain and fear, combined with overall disorientation. And as most people who have survived their suicide attempts will tell you, once they took that final action toward the abyss and they felt death was surely in motion, they felt immense regret, and they were terrified of what waited for them on the other side. So I can only imagine how my dad felt in those final moments when he realized that he had regretted the decision that he had made. If he even did, I don't know. But I was a teenager. My heart was broken by someone less than a month prior, and now my world was shattering before me as I watched the plug be pulled on my father because the hospital said that since my father wouldn't recover, that he was just taking up a bed. And I sat in the room and said my final goodbyes to a body that didn't even look like the dad that I had known for 17 years. My mother, inconsolable. She was trying to be strong for the both of us with words about pushing forward and not letting this keep us from living life. And I'll be honest with you, it was hard to believe her through her tears and the overall tone in her weak, frail voice. And, there were many other nasty things that would come from my father's passing. It couldn't just be he passed away and we're just sad about that. No. That's when everything starts to unravel. Arguments with my dad's siblings, rumors about my mother when she started trying to date again, more arguments over inheritance now that my dad was no longer an heir and my great-grandmother was inevitably soon to pass. People that once left our family alone were now coming back into the picture because they didn't fear the presence of my dad, who would try to help keep a sense of order and peace, though he had his many faults and issues within himself that he would never resolve. He took those with him. He was very troubled. He was a complicated guy, but he was my dad. There were emotions and thoughts of my own that I now had more time to sit and process, which led me to having mixed feelings on my father and what he had done. But let's fast forward. I'm in my 20s now. I have a job that pays decently. It's not amazing, but I'm not starving. My bills are paid. I have fun, creative projects that I work on my off days, my spare time. I have people in my life that I can call upon whenever I need a good laugh. I have a home. I have a home that I love and have decorated the way that feels cozy and comforting to me, and it's filled with things that I love. And on mornings of my days off, I get up, I make a cup of coffee, I feed my pet cat that I found one night while working. He's awesome, I love him. And I have a cigarette on my front porch. I look around the neighborhood and I see people decorating their yards for Halloween, which, by the way, is one of my favorite holidays. I love Halloween. I feel a slight nip in the air that tells me that fall is on the rise, and I let out a deep breath of relief. I am at peace. I am now living a life that I could have only imagined in the best case scenario. Now, while there are things that I would like to see improve and change, those things will always exist. And I hope they do. And when I look back on that time of my life and the struggles that followed it, I don't even understand how my mother and I kept our heads above water. But now that I am in a better place, a more peaceful part of my life, I know what it was. And for many people, quote unquote, what it was will vary. We all come from different backgrounds, different stories, different traumas that we must face and conquer so that we may sit on our porches, drink our coffee as the sun rises. So in conclusion, when you're at a place in your life where you think it's over and there's no way the story gets better, keep writing the story. No matter how much conflict your character encounters, keep writing it. So eventually, you will come to a new chapter and you will finally have a chance to take a deep breath of relief and say to yourself, I am at peace today. It's not over, my friend. Thanks for letting me yap to you. Love you, man.